All right. Pardon me. Pardon me. Here is our last section, and then we'll just have a wrap up. But this is actually the most important section that we have to talk about. So this kind of wraps things up. It's 20 points, this section, because I think it's the most important of all of them. So again, all of this came from a book. This is obviously chapter 12 because you were not going through the whole book, but I wanted to do the things that I thought were important. So let's talk a little bit about what is discussed in this section. Let me see. Okay. So defining your legacy. So we start off with just talking about, why are we talking so much about giving? Wasn't this course supposed to be about personal finance? How is giving connected? Well, the act of giving creates a legacy. It gives meaning to the journey of your life. Pardon me, let me have a sip of water. So you can be remembered for a lot of things. And at your age, you're not really thinking about like what you would be remembered for. But as you get ready to graduate, you will be remembered for certain things here, whether you were in school this year or not. I mean, you had a lasting impact. What kinds of things do you want to be remembered for? Your athletic ability, musical gifts, sense of humor, the way you make people laugh. Were you kind? Or did you have like an issue with anger? Did you have an attitude with people? Were you selfish? Were you generous? What kinds of things define who you are and what do you put out there to people? So it's good to stop and think about. Reflection is a really important part of life. Is what do you want people to think of you? What do you want your vibe to be when they think back and think, oh yeah, I remember her from high school. She was really blah. Blank, fill in the blank. What do they want? What do you want people to say when they fill in the blank of that question? So anyway, you can make a lot of money and be wildly successful. You can go after your dreams and accomplish each and every one of them. But to what end? If you're giving of yourself, you're building a legacy to be proud of. After all, your legacy is the impact you have on the world, and it shows what really matters to you. So hopefully you've given that a little bit of thought. Now, this is the part that's really important. We didn't go through the 5 foundations in this book because I just got it and we just started picking things out from it. So Dave Ramsey, the man who wrote this book with his partner, came up with the 5 pillars of the way you should handle your finances. And we haven't really explicitly talked about this, so I wanted to talk about it now. So the first foundation is you should have an emergency fund, and it should have $500 in it. That should be in the bank. If you don't have $500 in the bank, you shouldn't spend another penny on anything else until you have $500. So no, nights out, no stops at Wawa, nothing until you have $500 sitting in the bank in case you have an emergency. Number 2 is get out of debt. So I don't know if you have debt yet. I don't know if you're going to get into debt when you start college and maybe have to pay for some of those bills. But once that happens and you get your job, you need to start paying off that debt. Maybe you have credit card debt. You don't want to have any debt. Third foundation is pay cash for your car. This sounds crazy because I know it's something that we always finance. But truly consider, can you start putting money away so that you can eventually buy a car in cash, not financed? The fourth is pay cash for college. Now that's going to be pretty impossible, right? Who of us can pay cash for college? So that one I don't always agree with. But the fifth one is build wealth and give. So once you get all those accomplished, except for the fourth one, you start saving, and make sure you continue to give. So we know that by following these steps, you will build wealth. The sky is the limit. As you do, be intentional with your money. That means don't all of a sudden say, where did that money go? Oh, it went to Wawa. No. It's okay to buy concert tickets. It's okay to spend money on tattoos. It's okay to spend money on those kinds of things. Just make sure you're intentional. Make sure that is what you want to do with it. Keeping an open hand and an open mind means you will leave behind an amazing legacy someday. The bottom line is, as a high school student, you've got the opportunity to take all of the valuable information we've learned in this class and apply it to your own situation. Success isn't always easy, but it's possible for anyone who's willing to go after it. So what will your future look like? What will your legacy be? In this margin, they talk about the tax benefits of giving. you actually can write that off in your taxes, but that's kind of a different conversation for a different day. I liked this quote here on the third page. We make a living by what we get. We make a life by what we give. Again, it doesn't have to be money. It can be giving in any way of your time and of your talents. So go ahead and read this. It's a nice little article that I wanted you to take some time to read, and then answer the journal question. When have you been impacted because someone gave their time, money, or talents to help you? How did this affect you? Sometimes when we think about how we've been helped by others, it helps us think about maybe an impact we can have. Okay, that's it for today. We'll meet back up for our final review tomorrow.